What's up, everybody? I'm just getting things ready here. How is everybody doing? Hopefully, we'll have some people start to show up here in a few minutes. This camera. Let's see if that's better. All right. All right. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. Bringing my chat here. Everybody's doing the 31 Days of Halloween. I hope I'm doing it. Vinegar Syndrome just released their October titles, and there's a lot of excitement there. I just recorded a video for that, and that'll go up probably tomorrow. So for everybody who comes to this and watches it in the rebroadcast or whatever you want to call it after the live is over, let me just do an intro here. Steven here from Off the Shelf Movie Nights, talk to you about physical media, about Blu-rays, 4Ks, and DVDs, the way we like to buy and own our movies, TV shows, and documentaries, whatever it is you like to watch. We buy it on a physical disc so that we can have it, display it on a sometimes beautiful, sometimes messy library, and watch it at our leisure and not worry about if it's disappearing from some streaming service. So if you're new to the channel, new to these videos, whatever, new to me, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the conversation because I want to know about your stuff. I want to know about your collection, your viewing experiences, your media space, your home theater, whatever it is you use. I'm here to learn about what other people are up to so that we don't feel like we're existing in a silo. There's others like you. There's others like me. We like to own this stuff. I know our numbers are dwindling, but we are mighty. We are loud. And we are proud. So join this conversation. Show me your stuff. Let's talk about it. So this particular stream typically is what I would call a movie theme live stream. I do movie theme nights. Sometimes I'll do custom cocktails. Sometimes it'll be just a couple of movies. Sometimes it'll be a trilogy. I'll come on here with 5 or 10 choices, and then we'll talk about at the end how I would pair them up in a movie theme night, because I love doing movie theme nights. I host them here at my place. I feel like some of you guys do too. And I don't know about you guys, but my sinuses are ridiculous right now. I thought I had the bug for a minute, because I literally cannot breathe. And that can be one side effect of the bug. But because I've had it, I know what it's like. I speak from the experience. You guys, I'm in my pajamas. I did a walk in my city today. I was lucky I had some time after an aggressive filming situation at the end of last week. I think I mentioned that on a video I dropped here that hardly anybody watched, but that's okay. I did have to put something up because I was really busy last week. I'll show you. And also I had my 12 hours of terror over the weekend, but I'll show you. This is my day. They're pretty good. 20,000 plus steps, about 9 miles. So that ain't bad. But we're going to talk about my 12 hours of terror. That's how I like to start the Halloween season, the spooky season. I like to start with the 12 hours of terror. I'm going to do 2 of them this season. I did one here in my place with some friends, and I'll do another one at my local art house on the 22nd. But here are the discs. These are the movies that we watched. And once people start popping in here, if people start popping in here, I certainly hope they do, I'll talk about the movies that we watched. I curated them myself. This is 100% me this year. In previous years, we've done this every year since 2020. I've taken suggestions from our core group. And this year, I attempted within our group conversation to take suggestions, but people drug their butts on providing them. So I curated the entire thing, and I think it was a pretty good time. In previous years, it's sort of been like a weird curve. Like people really love something I program and then really hate it. And it's kind of up and down. This year it was kind of a flat line. Everybody liked everything and it was pretty consistent. There weren't any big hates. There weren't any things that people loved more than other things. The feedback I got was that people did love, generally love the movies. So I guess I call that a success. Everybody seemed to have a good time. We had a lot of snacks. Did a custom cocktail. I can show you that. I'll show you that here in a minute. And if you're watching this in pre-show, I'm so sorry. I am dragging my butt trying to wait for people to have an opportunity to pop in here and have this conversation with me. So, did you guys get that Vinegar Syndrome email? What do you think? I'll have a detailed feeling on this is in my video tomorrow. The big thing I wanted to ask, and I do eventually after going long-winded about other parts of their newsletter, I did eventually get to the question, which was, are all these sort of larger releases, these more popular titles that Vinegar Syndrome is announcing and putting out, does that mean the end of Vinegar Syndrome as the type of boutique distributor that it has always been, which is something really edgy? They release really edgy stuff. Not necessarily horror movies. Horror movies are fine, but they release a lot of, sexual type of things. I don't want to say the word here because I want to keep us live. And they do release some edgy horror too. I like to buy a lot of their stuff. I've bought a number of Vinegar Syndrome things and sadly had to return a lot because I cold bought stuff hoping, or not return. I guess I haven't ever returned anything. It's just flipped. I flipped it and resold it because I watched it, didn't end up liking it. And that has happened. So tonight we're talking about 7 films for my 31 days of Halloween. I will try and do, some blocks. Like I'll do another video with another 7 or 8 films, and I'll maybe do this once a week. So each week at the start of the week, you'll have some films to watch for that week moving forward, rather than do individual videos. If you want individual videos, head over to my TikTok, which is down there, really messily written below. Go there, and I'll be doing some daily videos there because it's more conducive to short form videos. Well, I don't know. Let's see. I'm making sure all my IMDb pages are open so that I can talk about these movies. We're at 7 minutes. We're at 7 minutes in. At 10 minutes, another 3 minutes. I'm going to try and bullshit for another 3 minutes. At 10 minutes, I'm just going to start talking about the movies. 10 minutes. My chair is, you guys hear this? This chair is so loud. I'm not buying another chair. This is some really high quality $80 Amazon office chair situation. I'm not buying another one until I have to. I'm going to have to get some WD-40 and spray in there, I guess. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's see. 2 more minutes, and then I'm just going to start talking about stuff. I've kind of been slacking on these lives, like not slacking. I guess I've missed a few that I actually planned because the last time I planned one, I got very sick. And then the time before when I had announced one and scheduled it, I had Wi-Fi issues and couldn't get on. So maybe this is my payback for inconsistency, because inconsistency is the name of the game when it comes to this stuff. If you are a follower or viewer and you come and view this later and that you were a victim of those 2 live streams, I apologize greatly. Not something I wanted to do. All right, I got all the IMDb pages open here. We're kind of good to go. And we are going to start in 1 minute. We're going to start. Let me get from here I can reach it here. I got some things I want to show you. I'm just going to show them to the screen. Luckily, there's no names on here. All right, we're ready. Let me get a drink real quick. Hang with me. Getting a drink. I think you could. Can you still see me? I'm just grabbing a drink here. All right. All right. Got it. You guys, I'm in my big tent pajama shirt because I came in from my epic walk and just showered and put on pajamas. You know, not a sponsored video, but hey, if they want to send me some water, I will drink it. I love Waterloo water. Waterloo water was kind of what helped get me. Well, not Waterloo specifically, the brand. I did do bubbly for a while before. I guess carbonated water is what got me off sodas. I've been off sodas for years, and it was carbonated water that did it. All right, let's start. So we're going to talk about my 12 hours of terror and how I started the season. And I'm going to give you these movies to hopefully give you some ideas if you want to watch some stuff this weekend you don't know what to watch. Some of these you may have to order because I don't think they're streaming anywhere. And one of them in particular was very difficult to get. And we're going to unbox that baby here on this here live stream. And I'll explain why we're unboxing something I've already watched. We'll get to that. Okay. So first things first, I love to have a cocktail recipe so I can make a custom cocktail for everybody. And I don't like pumpkin. I know the pumpkin thing is like the PSLs and all that stuff is like the jam for autumn season. I like apples for autumn season. So my 12 hours of terror cocktail is this. It's very simple. It's really delicious. And if you don't drink alcohol, you can still do this exact cocktail and it will be delicious. So I'm going to give you the recipe and then I'm going to give you some augmentations to it. I just call it my 12 hours of terror cocktail. This is a very common cocktail, an autumn cocktail. I'm not a mixologist, so this is an existing drink, right? But it's very easy to make. It takes 2 ounces of apple cider. Get yourself a good apple cider. 1 ounce of bourbon, your choice of brand. I like Bullet. That's what we used, and it's delicious. I wouldn't go too expensive. I did have some Four Roses out, but you don't need a super, super expensive bourbon because you're mixing it. 2 ounces of ginger beer. This is important though. Don't get cheap ginger beer. Don't get ginger ale. I like ginger ale with bourbon, but not in this case. Don't get that. Make sure it's a good quality ginger beer to mix with this. It needs to have that ginger flavor. It needs to have real ginger flavor and not, that processed flavor because it comes through. Half ounce of lemon juice. You got to squeeze it. And you take a cinnamon stick to stir it and then drop that cinnamon stick in for garnish. And that's my 12 hours of terror cocktail. Highly recommended. Very easy to make. And that is a cocktail that we made to have during the 12 hours of terror that we just did. What's up, Nathan Savino? That's right, influencer. I'm going to talk about these movies that you missed because you were down in Florida. I'm going to talk about what we did for our 12 hours of terror. All right, so let's see. Let me bring up the IMDb page so we can talk about this. Since when are you on YouTube, sir? There's not even this first movie that we started with is so kind of obscure that there's not even a trailer on IMDb for it. You the dumb bitch. See what happens when people that get into your video stream. Luckily for me, no one else is in here yet. Thank goodness. All right, movie one. This is for the people who are rewatching this later. Let's see. From 2003, we started with 2LDK. Nathan, I think you would have liked this one. You would have related to this one a little bit too much, I think, to be honest. I don't like to show things that I don't have the physical copy of, too. That's the thing. So 2LDK, that stands for you're that's hang on, now I'm getting distracted. There. 2LDK stands for 2-bedroom, living room, dining room, and kitchen. So basically, this story follows these two girls who move into an apartment together. This is a Japanese horror film. Move into an apartment together, and it turns out they're both actresses and they're up for the same role in a movie. Nathan, you understand that? You understand that? Wanting the spotlight, being an actor, dealing with other actors, you get it. So they start off trying to be friendly with each other, but then slowly but surely it begins to get more and more petty. Like they fight, then they find out they're up for the same role, and things get a little more aggressive. And this is what you would imagine the most extreme disagreement between two creatives, two actors in this case, would be. They end up in a full-on fight, fist fights. One of them goes after the other with a chainsaw they find in the courtyard of the apartment. There's beatings, there's electrocution. This movie is brutal and hilarious. It's like, it doesn't sound like it gets super brutal, doesn't sound like it would be funny, but it really is hilarious. This is how we started it. Everybody had a great time in our group with that. And I was going to show also this, as I made these scorecards this year for everyone. And I had here on one side, I have quotes from reviews for the movie. I put the IMDb scores for the movie and allowed them to be able to put their own scores beside it. This person, I'm not sure who it was. 2LDK has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. They give it an 85. If that tells you that they really liked it. Yeah, Nathan, it is relatable. Like, I was thinking about Dramatique the whole time, except what would have happened if you let your brutal instincts come to life. This thing is pretty gory. There's some, early 2000s CGI blood that you've got to get used to, but recommended. I just have a couple of scorecards here. One person gave it, one person didn't like it that much. They gave it a 60, but it seemed like in conversation, everyone had a good time with it. That's kind of a low score. Everyone else in here gives it 85 or better. Like I said, the Rotten Tomato score is 100, but to be fair, there are only 12 reviews of it on Rotten Tomatoes because it's such a rare movie. It's not streaming anywhere, and only this year Unearthed Films put that out on Blu-ray. The second film that we watched is... Oh, I think there is a trailer for this one. So I'm going to show the trailer for this one. Let me just check. I have the page pulled up. There's a trailer for this one. So let me share this page with you. Share the screen. All right, let's see. There it is. And then I'll show you this.
I do sell my pasta sauce.
Let me bring it back to the beginning.
Show me your world, Chris.
Well, I thought we'd start with Crouch Tram Museum.
Great. Dear Mum, Yorkshire is lovely. Not like you said at all. They can smile. And they do sell my pasta sauce. The caravan bed is quite short, but Chris is a sensitive lover. Hope you can be happy for me. Love, Tina. Yeah, good girl.
You are going to pick that up.
I didn't do that.
If you don't pick up this excrement immediately, then I'm going to have to inform the National Trust.
Report that to the National Trust, mate.
I don't want this to ruin our holiday.
Get in.
Never thought about murdering innocent people before.
He's not a person, Tina, he's a Daily Mail reader. Say one word and it's...
I get it, it's just thinking outside the box.
The police have pursuing a ginger-faced man and an angry woman.
Sit! You're a liability. You're just like your mother.
Has it gone wrong?
Yeah, a bit.
You didn't let him see you do number twos, did you, Tina?
We both said what a nice couple we thought you were.
Hey, Norin, good to see you, man.
I love her.
I can fly!
Everyone else seems to find it so easy to express themselves. I mean, even you've got your knitting. Have you had a nice holiday?
Yeah, had a brilliant holiday.
Oh, Christ.
Okay. So that's Sightseers. That was the second film we did in our 12 Hours of Terror. It's a horror comedy, and it really is about this newly together couple going on a trip across the UK together in an RV, and it turns out that he is basically a serial killer, and we learn how she reacts to that. Watching this film is 2012. It's from the director of The Kill List, which is a movie a lot of people have seen. Ben Wheatley directed this movie. I was concerned about how this movie would go over, but everyone loved it. It's got an incredible soundtrack. Let me just see. This is another 85. Another person gave it a 90. It's ridiculous fun. It's so fun. I don't think you would have, Nathan. I think you actually would have enjoyed it. Like, no one disliked this movie. Everyone had a really great time with it. Norin, you only missed one movie. I'm talking about what we did for my first 12 movies of the season. The first one was this guy right here, 2LDK. It's good to see you. People are slacking tonight on coming into the live, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's see. I believe so far I have watched 5 films for October. Well, you're ahead by 2, right? If you're trying to do 31 for the season, if you're doing the 31 days of Halloween challenge. I don't do it like that either. I don't do one a day. I tend to do in blocks. I've already done 7 because we did this together in one night. So in my grouping, we always have to have one, what I call hardcore movie, like one movie that is just, well, in previous years, honestly, I've done more than one. I've done a couple. This year, I did one really, kind of hardcore movie. And let's see, everyone pretty much liked it as well. Got 80%. One person gave it. This person gave it a 65. Yeah, and I only have 2 of the scorecards here, unfortunately. I don't know where the others are. Maybe they took them with them, which I think is great. But the movie is from 2007. It's called Frontiers. Let's see. A gang of young thieves flee Paris during the violent aftermath of a political election, only to hole up in an inn run by neo-Nazis. So it is brutal. It's super intense. It's a very challenging horror movie to watch. And I will share the trailer with you now so you can see what it looks like. And yeah, like I said, I always have to do 1 or 2 really tough horror movies to watch, and this was it. And we watched it in the 3rd slot because I try to do the subtitles early while people are still awake, because it can be difficult to do a subtitle at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So let me pull this tab up and I'll show it to you. Yeah, it is bright. All right, so that's Frontiers. Not for the faint of heart. This movie is not the movie that you want to. This is not. I gotta stop it here. It's not light horror movie fun watching. It's from 2007. It's an hour and 48 minutes long. So we in our group every year for our 12 Hours of Terror, I've been doing a different French extremism horror film. The first one we did was Martyrs, which is unequivocally the best of them, but really that's a single watch movie. Then we did Inside, which is also amazing, and then we did the third in sort of the unholy, if you will, trilogy of 12 of French extremism, and that was Frontiers. So trailer already feels very atmospheric. It's a super atmospheric movie. It's a French film from the early 2000s. It is not artsy. It is disturbing and disgusting. Watching it, let's see. Nathan is still in here. He would have been here normally, but he failed. Watching it in a group was something because there's some scenes in this movie where everyone viscerally reacted all together. Now, I worked really hard to get a copy of this movie. The only way you can get it domestically is on a DVD. And I was going to do that, but it was so expensive, the DVD, because it's been out of print for many years. I ended up acquiring a copy of it through unsavory means in order for us to be able to watch it, but I don't like to screen movies I don't physically own. So I finally did find it on Blu-ray, and I got it from France. And you can see it's got the French the sort of the Euro rating system there. Sadly, it didn't come until today, but hey, we have it here. Everything is in French on it. I hope that it actually has this version. This release actually has English subs. If it doesn't, the unsavory version that I acquired does have a English subs file that I can apply to this Blu-ray and use it in my all region player. Has a side loading slip, which is pretty cool. Let me look at the back and make sure before I show it to you that there's nothing unsavory there. That's the original poster art that I know. And there's the back. And the inside, it's basically the same artworks. So the first, I kind of like to have a little sub theme going, and I only did it for the first three. But it is what happens when you have two, or you have people, not just two, but a number. When you have people who might, under normal circumstances, not necessarily be murderous, crazed people, but when you put them together, they become that way. And that happens here. Definitely happens here. And to a weird degree, it does happen here. Now, this is more of your traditional situation where you do have some people who find their way at the wrong place, the wrong time, and end up being victims of something horrible. Again, don't watch that movie unless you're in for something really challenging, because it is a tough watch. You say you never fail. You something. All right. So the fourth film, we always have to do something that is retro. And this is no... oh, good. There is a trailer. Good. This is nothing different. The fourth movie that we did is The House on Sorority Row. It's a 1982 film. It's an hour and 31 minutes. Basically, the story is this: a group of sorority girls are having a graduation party. Their house mother for their sorority house doesn't want them to do so. Things happen to her accidentally. They think they've accidentally killed her, but did they? Because during the party, people start getting knocked off slasher style. That's what happens. And I'll leave it at that. But let me just show you the trailer so you get a little vibe of what this movie would look like. This would probably, to me, in a weird way, be the slowest of the movies that we watched. And this one, the trailer's in a weird spot. It's here. Oh, look at that. I got to get. Oh, what are we about to see? Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't show that one. Spoilers for the next. Yeah, maybe I'll just skip showing that one because if they're asking me for an age thing, maybe because there is a little bit of nudity in this movie, and I don't want to take a chance on that happening. And there's, it's a slasher, so there's gore. It's fun. This one is from MVD Rewind. I love this VHS cover. Honestly, though, to me, it's probably oh, okay, cool. Here's the original cover art. To me, it's the tamest of the movies in the first half of the night, honestly. No artwork, but there's a poster. I'm not going to bother unfolding that. We're just talking about the movies here. Yeah, but this has that retro 80s slasher film goodness going on. And the problem that we have in our group with these movie theme nights is I always try to show things I think people haven't seen, so we can't do the traditional slashers unless we're just doing, a greatest hits situation, because everybody in my group has seen Friday the 13th, they've seen Halloween, they've seen all that stuff. So we went this way. What do you say, Nora? Recently watched Funny Games. That movie was intense and surprised me for sure. I liked it. So Funny Games is an amazing movie. I love it too. We did show that movie during our 12 hours. It was one of the intense movies that I like to show. And it had such a fun, visceral reaction. Some people, I think Nathan, I believe you liked this movie, Funny Games, when we looked at it. One person, minor spoilers, but there is a dog that gets killed in the movie, and she got very upset with me that I didn't give her a trigger warning on that. It's hard for me to give trigger warnings to people, though, because I'm pretty much not triggerable. There's nothing you can show in a movie that's going to trigger me. You can disturb me for sure, but not to the point of being triggered. So it just doesn't occur to me in that way. Some people got really pissed at that movie, and that was a great time. I love it. I love that discussion. Which version did we show of Funny Games? We looked at the American version with Naomi Watts, and I have both. And I think both are amazing. They're basically, because you had the same director that wrote and directed both films. He came here and did his film, and I feel like he didn't really hold back. I mean, it's essentially the same movie twice over. I like the young guys, the villains, if you will, in the original version more, but I like the family in the remake more. We watched the remake essentially because I think they're equals. We watched it because we didn't have to do subs at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I love Naomi Watts, so there you go. Drew, do you have a preference on the two? Because I really do think one is as good as the other, honestly. All right. So the next movie we watched, I think there is a trailer for it. Let me show you. This one I can show you a trailer for. So I feel like it's always fun to have a creature feature in your list. Like if you're doing a horror movie theme night, you got to have some creature features. This year I kind of went heavy on creature features, which is something I haven't done as much of in the past. So it was just fun to do something different. And this movie someone in our group called this movie the sleeper hit. Like no one expected it to be as good as it was. And I call that a success. Let's see. Chrome tab. There it is. All right, let's take a look. It's called Splinter. Nathan, this one would have scared the crap out of you. It would have.
I think I'm gonna like camping. She looks not right.
Well, what do you want to do?
Turn it off. Get in the car.
Pull over.
Hello? Hello?
dead and
Get inside!
who was that?
Move away from the glass. They tracks us somehow.
We gotta get out of this gas station.
Wait. Stopped. I think it's gone.
Drop the gun. You're under arrest. Get in your car. There's something out there.
Watch the splinter. Don't want to stick you. Here.
It's gonna get near me. It's gonna kill it. You okay?
Don't touch it.
You guys, that movie is so much fun. And basically it is that. It's people who find themselves there's a couple that's camping, there's another couple that kidnaps them. They're trying to make a run for the border, and they end up hiding out in this little gas station from a monster that has splinters. It wants to eat them, but if it sticks them with a splinter, it infects them and some crazy stuff happens. It's good old traditional horror with jump scares and the whole 9 yards. It's just a blast. It's straight up a blast. And let's see. I have like I said, I have a couple of the sheets here for Splinter. Let's see. That one's kind of scribbled on 80% here. Yeah, which is pretty good. Which is right around, I think it's 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I do have the Blu-ray here, and I can't recommend this enough. If you like single location, jump scare laden horror, then you should get a hold of Splinter and watch it. It's a complete blast. Norin or Drew or any you guys you want to throw in some movies that you're already watching for 31 Days of Halloween. I'd love to hear them. Drew says she prefers the remake of Funny Games. Reasonable. Yeah, Nathan, you would have dug that movie. That probably would have been your favorite of the night, honestly. And that's fine. The remake of Funny Games is great. The remake is great. All right. So it's time for another somewhat more aggressive movie. And that is the 2007 movie, The Signal. This movie had been on my plans to show in previous 12 Hours of Terror for a while. And I just had been working my way down my list of twisted crap. And we finally just got there. This movie is broken into 3 acts. It's one movie, but it's 3 smaller stories within this one movie. And each story is directed by a different director. So it does change tonally, which is really interesting. It's hyper violent. It's beautifully acted. Let me just show you the trailer and then we'll talk about what it's about. Here we go.
We'll go to the country and start a life.
Lee?
Go down to the station, we'll get on a train, and we'll get in our own private compartment. New Year's Eve, Terminal 13, Mayan Ben.
It's beautiful.
That was strange. The TV turned itself on.
What's going on? Why isn't anything working? Everybody's out in the hallway.
That's the same sound that was coming through the phone.
What's the matter with you? I turned the TV on and there it was.
1 out of 2 people just started killing each other. They just decided to kill people.
Listen to me. The girl in the car.
Do you hear that?
Did you see where she went?
She was going to find you.
We've got to find her.
lie. The signal, it's a trick.
All right, The Signal. So it's sort of story wise not as twisted, but it is hyper violent. I think it was 2007, and basically the story is this: it's three separate stories about people who end up coming together in different ways, who have been impacted by this weird signal that comes through the TV in this little town called Terminus. And it's causing them to kill each other. It's almost like a zombie movie in a way, but they're not zombies, not even at all. They still have their intellect, but they're just killing the shit out of each other in some really violent ways. It's funny though, because if the name Terminus is familiar, there was a 2-episode run on The Walking Dead, also called Terminus. The movie and The Walking Dead both shot in Georgia, Atlanta to be specific. The Signal was shot in Atlanta. So I haven't looked it up, but I feel like one of the 3 directors maybe had something to do on The Walking Dead. Anyway, it's highly recommended. If you want something that's visceral and gives you some fun tonal changes, like it's violent from beginning to end without question, but in the middle act of the 3 is quite funny in some spots. It's quite funny. So this one, as I said, has been on my plan to show friends for a while, and we finally got to it. And generally, everyone except our friend who you know on here, who's been on here before with me, Zach hated it, which is all the more reason to enjoy it, to be honest. So, all right. Last movie of our 12 hours of terror. We took a breakfast break, as we always do. And keep in mind, this movie started at 8:30 in the morning. So let me cue up this trailer so you guys can see it. And it was funny too, because people were kind of opposed to it at first, but everyone warmed up to it. The last movie of the night is 1980's Alligator. And I actually showed it on this beautiful 4K presentation. Everything else I had ripped to a hard drive so that it would just play. But we watched this on 4K because it's a 4K baby, and we had to. This is original artwork. It stars Robert Forrester, who you might know from like Jackie Brown, but he's been around for a long time. I think he was on Better Call Saul also, but he's been on a lot of things. This is a very wonderful release from Scream Factory, and basically what happens is in like the mid 60s, a kid gets a little baby alligator for a pet. And her parents get mad at her and they throw it, and she names it Ramon, and they throw it down in the sewer. And then cut to, let's see, what did Drew say? Let me just stop for a minute. She says, I enjoy horror with comedy elements. I just watched Mom and Dad with Nick Cage, and it was great. I have not heard of that with Nick Cage. Anyway, let me show you this trailer. Maybe I'll have to look it up. If it's something you like, I'll give it a go. All right. You ready? Here we go. I'm trying. Share the screen. There we go. First, this volume is always down.
It lives 50 feet beneath the streets. It's 36 feet long. It weighs over 2,000 pounds. It's killed 5 people already. And it's about to break out.
Yeah. Best scene in the movie right there. I love it so much.
Alligator.
Now, before you say, "Oh hell no," because I know that Nathan would probably for sure say hell no to this, but it grows on you. It's just so cleverly written. It's funny. It's got good scares in it, and it's animatronics, including miniatures. There is a scene of the alligator, an overhead shot of the alligator crawling through the alleys of a city that is all done in miniature. And it's just something no one does anymore. And it's beautiful, and people loved it. Let's see the couple of scores, 80 and 75. That's the two scores that I got. And it's an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's about right. It's funny because it starts a little slow. So the first 20 minutes was really tough, having just done 10 hours straight. But once the alligator makes its appearance in the city, everybody was with it. We were all laughing together, screaming at the movie. It was just so much fun, and such a cool, fun, lighthearted way to end our 12 hours of terror. So that's my first 12 movies of 31 that I'm going to watch for this month. Now, like I said, I think I did post something on Facebook asking people about this, is I am doing a 12 hours of terror at the Belcourt Theater on October 22nd. The problem with my post was by the time people started replying to the post, it had sold out. Like, it's already sold out at my local theater. So that was the only issue. So I'll be doing another probably 7 films there. That's just what works out in 12 hours. But between now and then, like I said, I'll be showing you other movies that I think are great choices for 31 Days of Halloween. I'll do some extreme horror, some horror comedy, some traditional stuff. I like to mix it up and blend it. There's so many movies to watch. If you want daily updates, though, if you just want to see a movie a day, then you should really go over to my TikTok, OTS Movies on TikTok, because I'll do that over there. Here, I'm going to do it in blocks. So, Norin, you said you watched a handful of movies already. What have you watched that I should see? If you're still here in the chat, let me know. Let's see. All right. Otherwise, we're going to call this baby done and done, because we've been going nearly an hour, which is pretty much my typical. If you're watching this in the rebroadcast after the live, then you need to come in here on Mondays. For some reason, we're a little thin this week. I don't know why. Everybody's chilling, doing other things. But anyway, come in here on Mondays. We do a movie theme live stream every Monday night at 9 o'clock CST right here on this YouTube channel. And you can join in the conversation, share your ideas for different movie theme nights, that kind of thing. Oh, also, Nathan, I don't know if you saw this, but there's our official cocktail. It was delicious, and we did multiple rounds of it. It has 2 ounces of apple cider, 1 ounce of bourbon, 2 ounces of ginger beer, half an ounce of lemon juice, and that's stirred and garnished with a cinnamon stick. Now, if you like sweeter, you guys, if you like a sweeter version, forego the lemon juice, skip it, and instead put a half ounce of maple syrup in there and still use the cinnamon stick, and you still have a great seasonal cocktail that's super easy to make. All right, then I guess we're going to call this good. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure and follow me on my socials, especially TikTok. That's the one. Instagram, OTS Movies also. Till next we meet, pull something cool off your shelf, share it with friends and family, and remind them why physical media is the best way to watch films and TV at home. I'll see you guys for the next spooky update.